Yeah. Okay, so let's begin. Yeah. So Vaheguru Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. And so I'll tell you how we'll begin. We'll begin by first starting to define how we see ourselves. So we normally see ourselves as solid, and there's a little bit of liquid running inside us, and there's these little thought things going on. So you can just break down into those three components. But actually, if you look a bit deeper, people will say, well, everything is made out of molecules and compounds. And if you break them a little bit further, you find they're made out of electrons, protons, neutrons. And if you break that a little bit further, you find antineutrinos, neutrinos, and all this other particle stuff. And if you go even further than that, you come to the probability of something existing. It's called Heisenberg's principle. You can say what it is, but not where it is, or you can say where it is, but not what it is. And if you go a bit deeper and say, all right, I want to know what an atom is made of. And you find out that there are these three charges in it, but most of it's just space. And there is this thing that runs up and down, so there's a middle bit, and around the middle bit, there is a cloud. Let's call it a cloud. A cloud. And now this cloud, when you look at it, it can either behave like a particle or it can behave like a wave. Okay? It's called the double slit experiment in physics. Now, why am I giving you a little bit of physics in that? Is because when you go deep into the nature of matter, you find it's a vibration. Everything's a vibration. Everything. Your eyes, your eyelash, every single molecule, everything is vibrating at a particular frequency. Your emotion, your thoughts are fractals, meaning they are things that create them, energy that creates itself from itself. So if everything is made out of energy, energy has two parts to it. One, it's electromagnetic, meaning it goes towards something or it pulls something towards it. And the second thing is it's moving, but it never moves in a straight line. It always moves in a wave, all the time confirming that everything is a vibration. Now, when you have a thought, let's say a thought that you have is to do with compassion. So you can have thoughts that are compassion. So you can have thoughts on two sides, right? So we can divide thoughts into two spaces. We can divide thoughts which raise a vibration, meaning that they're very fast. They're very fast, but they don't remain for long. That's the other thing. Things that are low vibration remain longer than things that are fast. Yeah, it comes and it goes. To sustain that, we need practice. Okay, so things like unconditional love is a high frequency. Frequency means number of times in a second or a minute, the thing goes up and down. It's a high frequency. Things like, so let's say, to give you an example of frequencies and how that affects matter. So water exists, let's say, in three states: solid, liquid, and gas or vapor. Solid, very low frequency. Yeah, hardly moving. Liquid, a little bit more faster moving. Vapor, very fast frequency. Yeah. So as things become refined, frequency increases. So emotional states which are generated, which are refined, good, they are called good. And what are they? They are contentment, compassion, ethics, integrity, positive psychology. What does that mean? So there are two ways we can be grateful. One is we are grateful that I've got a car, a house, a friend, this, and that, and the other. The other is that you're grateful. A gratefulness emerges just because you're alive. Yeah, life becomes a gift. It's like a different organic space where gratitude arises. So that's like a higher frequency than the gratitude, where I'm sitting there and saying, I have this and I have that, I have the other. even though the gratitude bit is a higher frequency than if I was in anger. Anger is a lower frequency. Anxiety is a lower frequency. Why? Because it impacts your. Okay, so how does this work in terms of human beings? So, within the human structure, I've given you some idea of the whole thing being like frequencies and vibrations. But one of the key things is the heart. So your heart, my heart, everyone else's heart has a electromagnetic frequency, electromagnetic field that extends to as far as my hand, probably. Yeah, for everyone, about that bit. And as a result of it, it can either, you can find that when you feel love, this opens. But when you feel anger, it closes. Yeah. What does that indicate to us? And when you walk and you sit next to someone who is angry, you will find that your state of being changes if you're observant enough. If you're observant enough, you can walk into a supermarket, and if you're observant enough in yourself, you will see as you pass people how it impacts you. You can go and do that with trees, horses, dogs, because there are no agendas. Trees are there thinking, I hate that oak or whatever. It's just a tree being a tree. But people, we are always consumed with different things. So as a result of what you're thinking, lowers your emotional state. So if I'm thinking about, I don't know, someone has done bad, some trespassed against me, and I'm thinking about that, then my frequency becomes lower because I become angry. If I let go, if I forgive, my frequency rises. So there are two types of directions: emotional states. So bottom line is your emotional state will determine your electromagnetic frequencies, your bodies, and what comes out of your heart. So with anger, it lowers it. With anxiety, it lowers it. With fear is the harder, is the easiest one. Fear always lowers it like that, very, very quickly. Whereas love takes it higher, compassion takes it higher. The highest frequency for a human being is authenticity. When you stop pretending, when you become you, when you look within yourself and you're living from that space, the highest frequency. And these are all measurable. And how do they measure them? They measure them with heat maps. So if you did the 8-week program with me, you will have seen that there's a whole range of pictures of different emotional states and how the heat map comes in the body. So when you're depressed, it's blue, right? Depending on how depressed you are. When you're red, this bit is red, this bit is orange. Yeah, this bit is orange because the blood rushes there. Yeah, so wherever the blood rushes, you will find that it'll get picked up because it's the more blood you have on the surface, the more heat it gives up, so you can pick it up in a heat camera. Yeah. So it has been demonstrated that all emotions carry heat signatures. These heat signatures are indicative of your frequencies. It is in the interest of those who want to control others to use frequencies which are low. Because if you're in a lower frequencies, you can't think ahead. So if you're concerned about climate change, if you're concerned about migrants, if you're concerned about whatever, what all the fear propaganda echo chambers that we have 24/7, it's to maintain this control, maintain this hold. Why? Because you can't see out of it. Meditation is the easiest way to begin to change this. Why? Oh, with animals. Why? Because you become unconditional. You love these things. You pet an animal, you feel good. You go walk in a park, you feel good. You put your feet, bare feet, onto the grass. You will find after about 5 minutes of, you will start feeling quite comfortable. Why? Because it absorbs charge within the body, which raises your frequency. So things like mantra meditation. So how do we maintain? Why are mantras so important? Because they're a frequency. So if we begin to use a frequency over and over again, COVID was a frequency, and it was a fear-based frequency. And the more people spoke about it, the more fearful they got about it. So individuals, these are mantras. Mantra, that which makes the mind go up and down. And that creates these things called vrittis or vasanas as well, these waves, and those influence everything. Your mind is the government of your entire body, influences your nervous system, influences the whole thing. So by impacting the mind, you can impact frequencies. So stage one, meditation. Can't do meditate, go and stand barefoot onto the grass and you'll see the difference. If you're angry, if you're anxious, you'll see the difference. It makes it very quick. Then the other thing is find a mantra. Now, this now comes into a whole new science. What do you use? And how do you know the impact? Look, the seed determines the fruit. The seed determines the fruit. So if your seed, you don't know what the seed is, someone say, oh, by the way, go sit there and do om, om, om. You don't know what the fruit is. Yeah? So to find the right mantra that is appropriate to you can be a very difficult thing. There are some mantras out there which are generic. They're called Guru mantras or Beej mantras. Guru mantra are mantras that are given to you by a mystic, someone who has developed that particular frequency. They know what it can do. The frequency has a latent power in it. There are like 6 rules to it. And they are able to give it to you and it will work on you because they've practiced it. They've developed it. But then there are Beej mantras, which are mantras that are seed. So you keep practicing it over and how do you do it? You keep repeating it. That's all you do. You repeat it first audibly, then you repeat it within your mind, and then you internalize it. It takes a little bit of time, but you become very familiar with it. And the more familiar you become with it, the more your frequency begins to change. Hence, use of mantras has always been associated with people who have love, unconditional, all that kind of stuff. Why? Because it raises the frequencies up. All the mystics, all the ones who stood up for truth, all of those frequencies, you will find they were associated with a mantra. But in some traditions, you have a whole set, a whole verse that can be recited. And that in itself creates a particular frequency around you, depending on how you use it. So this is the science of sound, the science of mantra. However, going back to what is the frequency for you? What's the mantra for you? The easiest mantra for any human being is the mantra they carry in their breath. So if you begin to listen to your breath, you will find there are 2 sounds associated with it. And those 2 sounds are your sounds. They're your frequency. And by simply going to that and listening to it will begin to shift your frequency. So the question was, is there such a thing where people have a low, dense frequency? Yes, they're like ice. They're like ice. And what does ice do? It stays in a fixed state. Keep thinking about the same thing, you solidify yourself. Give up that thinking, vapor. Do you see what I mean? The crystal structure becomes loosened in where the water is concerned. So our states of being, our thoughts, our stories, the narratives that are told create emotional states. These emotional states split into 2. There are those which are healthy and there are those which are unhealthy. Those which are healthy are ego fueling. Those which are unhealthy are ego fueling. Anger, da 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 da. Those which are ego deconstructing or dissolving are all based on letting go, compassion, contentment, peacefulness, tranquility, da 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 da. Those kind of things. Yeah. So it's a very, very important phenomenon. My teacher gave me one piece of advice which I've never left, and that was wherever you're sitting, have a look within. If you begin to feel low, walk away. If even a little bit you feel a bit uplifted, that's the place to stay. Why? Because it's the frequencies. Yeah. So individuals' frequencies matter. Now, meditation, particularly heart coherence meditations, the reason they're so important is because they create like a shield around you. We walk out there naked in terms of our electromagnetic field because we don't do anything to strengthen it, apart from a bit of meditation here and there. But actually, there are proper meditations which are all to do with the heart coherence, heart intelligence, heart intuition, and awakening other parts of the inner space. And through that, our field, which is like a donut, becomes stronger and stronger. Now, what the advantage of that is, it doesn't matter what you walk into, your field is stronger than anyone else's because you practice it every day, you feed it every day. The same is true for people who are angry every day. Yeah. Yeah. But theirs is in a different way. Theirs is in a different way. Yours is in a different way. Yours is healthy. Theirs is unhealthy. Yeah. So it's a very real phenomenon. It exists because everything is a field and everything is electromagnetic and vibrational. And if you feel something that you feel, feeling is the language of existence. Feeling is the language. If you want to know how God talks through feelings. Yeah. Through self awareness, we become aware of the feeling, not what you're thinking. And through that non judgmental, non artificially created feeling, allows you to connect to the present moment, which by default raises your frequency. I think that's enough. Yeah. What do you reckon?
What about places? Like sometimes you go to places and I've always felt that like certain places lift you up, certain places like you feel
Yeah.
dark and gloomy.
Yeah. Well, if you have, like for example, the local area, Coventry, is known, I think, part of the council houses used for hanging or something. And there's loads of individuals who say, okay, you know what, that part of the place just feels different from others. So where you have pain, so this is another thing, right? Like fragmented egos, right? We were talking about something different now. There's a way of leaving a pattern. Yeah. So where you go to, places of pilgrimage. Why are they places of pilgrimage? Because people who sat there and did their meditation or whatever they did left a imprint on the ground. Water and the earth very quickly catch frequencies. So when you do meditation, always have water with you. Always. Why? Because the water absorbs your peace and then drink it or give it to people. Used to do that back in the day. You do it, the eldest in the family would do something like that, and then they'd give the water to everyone. And 80%, 70% of your body is water, so it influences the memory of that water. So this is how we can help each other raise our frequencies and theirs by just utilizing really things that have always been known, but which have been dismissed and kind of left alone. Yeah. Okay. I think enough for today, as they say. Yeah. Okay, let's begin with our meditation. So, as ever, we will always begin with our posture. And that simply means straightening your back, pulling your shoulders back, closing your eyes, and just tucking your chin in slightly. And as you do this, just draw a slow, deep breath in and take a note of what's going on with your body itself. Notice how you're feeling. And notice what's going on with your mind. You probably find there's a whole range of different things. So just see if you can take a note of what's going on within your mental space. Okay. And now you're going to make a commitment to yourself, your intention. And your intention is simply to become aware of yourself as best as you can. And in order to do this, you're going to first take a note of what's going on with your senses. So bring your focus towards your eyes and begin to notice what you have in your field of vision. Could be just darkness, could be thoughts, could be colors, could be images. What's in your field of vision, so to speak? Next, you're going to take your focus now towards your ears and begin to listen to what's around you. Not trying to work any sound out, not trying to have a communication or a commentary on it, but simply listening. Listening. And then gently bring your focus beneath your nose. And as your breath moves in, see if you can find an aroma. Stay with your breath. Now gently move your focus within your mouth and notice if there's a taste within the mouth. Bringing your focus just above your head, imagine a hula hoop. As this hoop begins to come down, it begins to scan your body. So we're going to scan the body as best as we can. Take your time. Remember, your focus, your intention is to notice what's going on with the body itself. Moving all the way down. And as you draw the next breath in, bring your focus to the body as best as you can. And notice if there's any discomfort, pain, a ache, a tightness, an itch. And next, you're going to take your focus to the seat you're on. And you will notice there are sensations where the chair makes contact with your body. Bring your focus to those sensations. From those sensations, you're going to move your focus up, becoming aware of your hips. And then gently move down from your hips towards your knees, gently, meticulously. From our knees, we move down towards our ankles, scanning the back and the front of your legs. Notice your ankles. Bringing your focus to your feet. And then moving to the soles of your feet. Notice your back is straight and upright. Very gently, you're going to bring your focus from your lower back to your middle back. From your middle back, bringing it up towards your shoulder blades. Moving to your shoulders. And then slowly bringing this focus from your shoulders to your elbows. From your elbows to your wrists. Notice the palms of your hands. To the fingers of your hands. Next breath in, bring your focus towards your eyes. And once again, begin to notice what's in your field of vision. Recognizing yourself to be just awareness. Awareness of the blank of your eyes, awareness of darkness. And then as you breathe out, you allow your eyes to soften. And as the breath moves in, you bring your focus towards your lips. Meticulously scanning every part of our body. Notice the upper lip. Notice your lower lip. And then as you move your focus within your mouth, notice the general sensations in your mouth. On the roof of your mouth, on the inside cheeks, notice your tongue, allow it to soften, notice your jaw, allow your jaw to soften. And then as you breathe out, you allow your face to soften. And on your next breath in, you're going to bring your focus back to your body as best as you can. And notice what's going on with the physical body. How does it feel? Is there any pain, any tightness, any itch? And then when you're ready, bringing your focus beneath your nose and sitting with your breath. Watching the in-breath move in, watching the out-breath move out. Breathing in, you know you're breathing in. Breathing out, you know you're breathing in. As you breathe in, watching the in, the start and the end of your in-breath, the start and the end of your out-breath. Stay with your breath. Stay with your breath. If you find your focus has drifted from your breath, you started thinking, or my sound or my voice has distracted you, notice the distraction. Gently, firmly come back to your breath. And your commitment at this stage is simply to sit with your breath, watching the in-breath move in, watching the out-breath move out. Allowing your breath to breathe by itself. Stay with your breath. Stay with your breath. Noticing how the breath breathes by itself while you remain still, simply watching. On your next breath in, you're going to bring your focus to your inner space. What this means is how you're feeling and what kind of thoughts are moving around. Notice your mental space first. Are you distracted or are you able to focus? Do you feel alert or do you feel drowsy? And then slowly moving your focus now to your chest, and you begin to notice the movement of your chest in rhythm with your breath. Notice how the movement of your chest are accompanied by sensations that change in the body itself. See if you can notice them. And now, if you move your focus a bit deeper into yourself, where your heart is, just see if you can hold your awareness there. And as you hold your focus there, begin to notice how you're actually feeling right now. Does this moment feel peaceful? Are you content? Or are you anxious? Do you feel settled? Do you feel unsettled? Now you're going to move your focus from your heart simply by opening your focus to all the sounds around you. And begin to listen. Allowing the bell to carry you into the silence. When you're ready, bring your focus beneath your nose and once again begin to sit with your breath, listening to your breath. Notice how you feel within yourself. Feels peaceful, focus on the peace. If it feels calm, focus on the calmness. Noticing the more you focus on your dominant quality, the more it becomes intensified. So if you feel peace, it will become more peaceful. If you feel silent, it becomes more silent. Simply by holding your focus there. Now, on your next breath out, you're going to expand your focus to include your whole body once again. And you're going to notice if there's anything in the body that draws your focus. And now, to help bring our focus back into the body, bring your focus to the seat you're on again. And notice the sensations where your body makes contact. And then from those sensations, we move up to the hips, moving down our thighs towards the knees. And then gently scan the legs all the way down from our knees to our ankles. Take your time. Notice your feet and then the soles of your feet. Holding your focus at the soles of your feet just for a little longer. Once again, bringing your focus back to the seat you're on. Notice you're still held in place. Your back is straight and upright. Notice that your shoulders, arms, hands comfortable. Your eyes are still closed and your mouth is still closed. Your face relaxed, bringing your focus back to your breath. And now as the breath moves in, you sense your body. As the breath moves out, you sense your body. Breathing in, you feel content, calm, peaceful. Breathing out, you feel content, calm, peaceful. Stay with yourself, stay with your body. Notice how the breath is calm, regulated, smooth. Breathing in, you feel calm. Breathing out, you feel calm. When you hear the next bell, use this bell to draw some slow, deep breaths in, and in your own good time, gently opening your eyes. Take your time. Enjoy the silence before the bell.